Alright guys, back here with another video, and this time we'll be going over my Future Gohan update post-anniversary boxes. We got a new toy and a bunch of new things since last time I actually messed around with this deck. And it's yellow good stuff, but with some updates to try to keep up with the current meta. And before we get into it, I want to make sure you guys are smashing the like button, leaving a comment below if you like this type of content. Check out the other videos that we have for this card game and other card games, as we've been posting a lot for Digimon, One Piece, and Yu-Gi-Oh! So if you guys like other card games, feel free to check out those videos as well. And make sure you're joining the Discord. We're going to start hosting, try to do weekly or bi-weekly tournaments for a lot of card games, as long as we can get some TOs to help organize those and make sure we're taking good care of the community. And you can always hang out in the Discord and communicate with me and my team and a lot of other players that just love these card games. So let's go ahead and get into it. If you don't know what the leader does, because he is kind of fringe, when he attacks, draw one card, and then he has an alternate awakening ability rather than his standard awakening of 4 or less life, and untap one, draw one. This is the better awakening is the burst 3 whenever one of your yellow battle cards that has blocker gets KO'd. You get to draw 2 after you burst 3, and then take up the life until you go to 6 life. And then, yeah, so you flip on over to the backside. The backside is really strong. When this card attacks, draw a card, then choose up to one of your yellow Future Trunks battle cards, and it gains 5k power and critical for the turn. Really strong, and I'll go into that in a little bit. And then it has an auto whenever you're attacked, you can restand one of your Future Trunks battle cards, and you get to make it gain 6k power and switch it to active mode. Yeah, so really strong. But the main reason you see, so take note of how you awaken this deck. So it was kind of hard to do before, but we'll go into how that works in a second with this new card. But 2 copies of this Super Saiyan Son Gohan come what may. This card's a deflect blocker, so it will stick, and if it doesn't stick, it gets KO'd by like freeze a charismatic, and then you'll trigger your awakening anyways. But when it's played, limit 1. You may place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck, and if you do, play up to 1 yellow Future Trunks with an injury cost of 1 from your deck or drop area, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. Now, there's a specific target we're going to show that makes this viable, and then you also have another effect. Choose 1 Future Trunks card in your battle area. When this card attacks or activates blocker, choose 1 card up under the chosen card in the combo, and then switch the card to active mode, and it can't attack for the turn. It's an interesting effect. Usually we're just using it for the awakening. We'll get into the rest of the extra deck at the end. Let's go ahead and get into it. You got 4 of your turn 1 play. This card is a top 3 grab any yellow Saiyan, which is really strong. There are a lot of targets, and all the targets are in order, so we'll go through that. It's also a 1-drop Future Trunks. Then you have the main target. We got 1 copy of Trunks Warrior of Hope. This is a brick. I could see myself maybe trying to, but in reality, you're less likely to see this card inside of your life, and that'd be the only time that this card gets hurt. And if you start off with this card, you can, check to see if it's still in your deck if you really want to, but it's not really that necessary. If this doesn't resolve the way you would want it to from this guy, because it's the only guy that's really alive, and basically why I'm saying that is because this card's unique. And one of your Son Gohan Future cards is KO'd by an opponent's attack or removed from your battle area by one of their skills. Play up to one yellow Future Trunks with energy cost 3 from your deck on top of this card, and then shuffle your deck. And the target for that is your Super Saiyan Trunks to change the future. This is your main guy. Barrier blocker, 20k. Activate main. If your leader card is yellow Future Gohan, which he is, you get to pay 2 energy if you have 4 or more energy and play Big Boss on top of him in active mode. And that is this guy. So Trunks Mightborn of Hope, double strike, barrier, dual attack, blocker. This card has every good keyword skill, and he also has an alternate evolve skill for 4, which you'll never do. But with this card's in rest mode, choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and 1 of their energy. And the chosen cards can't be switched to active mode until the end of your opponent's next turn. So I was trying 3. It is a 10k, and you don't want to clog on this. This is not like your only win con, and you don't want to get clogged with a lot of 10ks and extra cards and stuff like that. So 2 copies is fine. And you can look at the top 3 and try to grab them. And you draw quite a bit of cards in this deck. So that's it for the main engine. 2 cards that support those cards. You got 3 copies of Vegeta Fatherly Encouragement. This is a 1-drop counterattack negate. You saw it inside of a Vegeta profile, but this card's actually made for this deck pretty much because you can combo with it on your opponent's turn and restand one of your future Trunks. So if you use your leader's ability on their first swing and you restand one of these guys and you block, and during combat you combo this and you restand them. It's really pretty good because these guys have barriers, so they're pretty hard to remove unless you're Vegito, which is a problem. We got 2 Goku Steadfast Assistance. This card used to be a 3 or 4, like a minimum 4 of, really, because it was it was like one of your main blockers to get your Awaken going, because you charge double extra card and then your opponent's first play you counterplay it and then you can block. That is still an option, so feel free to play more copies depending on your meta if it's really fast. But yeah, this card's counterplay, draw a card, blocker, really nice for your leader. This is anti-blue, Trunks of Cunning. Opponent can't use Senzu Bean anymore, but that Goku SCR and the new Gohan SCR and cards like that will still do it. So still restand energy. So this card makes it where they have to warp 5 cards from their drop area if they want to do it for each energy they restand. 2 Trunks, Turles all too easy. Now, if you notice, there's a lot of 2-ofs in this deck, or like lower cut counts. I'm still gonna tweak those as I go, because it's one of those decks where you want to keep it at 50 cards, mainly because you want to see your pieces and you don't want to clog on certain cards. So, and I was testing, I was just drawing, like when I play 3 or 4 copies of certain cards like this, I was just drawing them too much. This is your 2-cost double striker that KOs a card in rest mode and draws a card, which is really pretty strong. But so that's just generic. And then you have the newer cards, 2 Pan Inherited Bloodline and 3 copies of Son Gohan Flash Variants. So one thing to note, you want to have these cards inside of your Z Energy because you want them to get some value after you combo with, because in general, comboing cards from your hand is kind of neg. So if you play like the 1-drop Trunks sometimes, you'll just combo this on their first wink, so that you don't get stuck with like a situation to where like they can KO your card and you don't want to lose another card in your hand, because this card makes you bottom deck a card out of your hand. So you want to get as much free value so that you don't have a smaller hand during the mid game. Early game's fine because you'll recoup it by drawing essentially 4 cards when you awaken, and then attack and draw. So you'll draw 5 cards that turn, which is nice. But this card works really well with your extra Z card battle card. This guy makes the evolve cost on this card become 1 essentially. So when you play this, it's a 1 cost 15k essentially. Combo them with the cards in your drop, which also works because you mill cards. So these cards just work really good with this type of leader because you have the burst 3 and you get those 3 cards in combo from drop. So this is essentially a 15k by comboing cards in your drop, dual attack, deflect, and it can KO something in rest mode. The Z battle card puts something in rest mode when it's played. So removal, engine, pretty nice, but it costs 3 energy to do that. So that's why you want to have as many 5Ks to defend as you can. And this card is if you have pan and board, so if you can do both of them in one turn, which is possible, and it's a lot of like pressure. It's dual attack, double strike, barrier, 30k, which is really nice. Then the last thing in the deck that we're currently playing is Piccolo and Son Gohan Newfound Might. This is your secret rare of choice. It is, you can find it off the top 3 with your Little Trunks 1-drop, and that's one reason why you want to keep it at 50 cards, so that you can try to find this off your top 3. It used to be Wicked Sands because it's a blocker and it's really hard to awaken, but this card is just crazy. People think that they're safe to try to go all in, and you just combo and play it and draw a card and rest something really strong. We got 3 Krillin super combo. No real debate here. This card is the best super combo for most yellow decks. 2 Basil. This is a 1-drop 19k dual attacker. And this deck has a lot of dual attack. So as much dual attack as you can, because people are cutting Senzu Bean from their deck. So I'm okay with that. More dual attack, the more cards out of their hand. 2 Swift Retaliation Cooler. This card is just counterattacks. draw a card, draw 2 maybe. And then you got 3 riposte. I do not want to like play way too many of one card. I was trying 4 and I was drawing way too many copies of this. And a lot of times you do try to tap out because you want to do a lot of your plays by tapping all of your energy. Then extra cards to go with it. 4 Realm of the Gods, Black Kamehameha. Potentially bump this to 3 and play 4 of this. Mainly because you can easily get to your 6th life and then you can get to your 4th life pretty quickly by just playing this, because one of the things that this deck can do is make sure that you get to 5 life for your testing the opposition clone or Frieza army reinforcements token negate. And then you also have the rest of the extra cards. Got 1 of Power of Super Saiyan, it's limited, Forbidden Power. This card's just like a weird Nimbus. That's pretty nice. It has another flex combo thing, and then you have 1 Final Flash. They always have to respect it. And the spice picks, not really spice, but 2 Koitsukai. Like I said, you want to have cards that you can combo with that get some value. And you can also burst this off the top 3 whenever you're awakened, doing your ult awaken. So it's really nice as a anti-floodgate type thing. And then 1 Overrealm choice, Dark Broly, Heartless Berserker. This card is pretty solid for the deck in general because you do need removal for higher end threats. You do have access to some removal, so I may end up swapping this to something else. But that really just comes down to your personal preference for the Overrealm slot. It may be Mirror because you have access to the rest of the extra deck. You have 2 copies of the Gohan. You got 2 copies of this Gohan. You want to have a flexible extra deck as well as as long as you can. This you're probably never going to play more than 2 of this a game, so why not? There's only technical 3 times you would ever really want to play, and I doubt you're going to get that late in the game just the way the deck's playing. Just 2 is fine. And then you got 1 Oolong. This could technically go to 2 maybe, because I don't really know if I'll ever play 2 of this card, so I may end up just going to 2 Oolong. This card is just really powerful, and they're going to always kill it if they can't kill you. So this card can just copy the power of one of your Overrealm, or you can copy power of the Trunks. So it's really strong. 30k copy is still good, or it can copy the Newfound Might Secret Rare, 40k, and then you have the 1 copy of the Vegeta that can help self-awaken. If you guys don't have this, you can get it by going to your local gaming stores. And yeah, this card is really good for a lot of decks. When it's played, you place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck, and then you draw 1 card and take 1 card from your life. So it's a cantrip that allows you to get yourself to 5 life basically in this deck. And yeah, the last slot, because you've seen 6, because you got these 2, and then the 1 Goku. So this card basically Poutine. When this card's played, choose one of your opponent's leaders, unison, or battle cards in rest mode. It can attack into the end of your opponent's next turn. Really strong. I'm tempted to play a 2nd copy of this, but I wish I could just play 15 cards like Yu-Gi-Oh, but no. This card's in rest mode. When your opponent plays a card, you may place 1 of your Z energy and it's on a drop. And then if you do, choose one of your opponent's battle cards or unisons and switch it to rest mode and negate the skill for the turn. So, and it's 25k with barrier. So the one thing that I will say about the Pan, one reason why I'm tempted to play 3 copies of her is if you do play her on turn 3, which you can easily, you will feel your Z energy up pretty quickly. So you can combo because she combos from drop twice. And then you'll easily combo on your opponent's turn. You'll have 3 for this guy the next turn. And then you'll have 1. So, boom. It's pretty nice if you really want to play that route. So, feel free to test those cards the way I have them at this moment and tell me how you think about it. And we'll go ahead and get into those options now. So, if we want to, as you can see already in the bottom, you can play the engine that I played before with Wicked Sands. And then taking 1 copy of this one, because it's a little harder to see use in him, because the Turles just draws you a card and this card doesn't, but he's a blocker, and basically that's pretty strong. And he's also a Saiyan, so that's something to, and so is this. So these cards make it to where you don't have to rely so heavily on the actual chain, so feel free to try that out. This is just a free combo card, and can rival too if you really needed to. And then you got the Tyrannical below on the side. Time Magic's pretty strong for this kind of deck. because you burst 3. If you play a Unison package, you can play like this guy or the Trunks Unison, and then you can play this guy as a top end boss. I'm not sure if that's really necessary, mainly because those are like non-comboable cards, and at least it makes it extra really hard to get into. You got the 1 anti-extra cards, always a good option for the side. 2 Whis, probably not necessary because no one's really playing Soul Striker anymore, and Bean just got rotted. 3 Slug and 3 Slug. That engine is really nice, but I'm not sure if I want to main deck it right now. Then you got this anti-big top-end cards. You play this like you're playing Dirty Burst, and you're minus it 1, and then they can't swing with their big threats. Oh, they can't really want to play them because it's not worth it. Borgos, the new counterplay from this new set, was playing some copies. It is a Saiyan, so it's really nice that you can find a 1-cost counterplay that doesn't rely on extra cards, that gets around deflect because it rests anything 7 costs or less when it's played, which is really cool. And then you can play the 4th Riposte if you really want to. And the 2nd Forbidden Power. Maybe a 3rd Tearless. The 1 Bergamo is not in here because your deck's really energy hungry, and you'll never really play it. I could probably see myself putting it back in, though. I just love that card. 3rd copy of the Mightborn of Hope, if you really want it. And then these are some super combo decks you can try out if you want to play the the green-yellow engine. But yeah, thank you guys for watching once again, and make sure you guys are leaving comments. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Deuces.